Welcome to another Saturday night edition of Rookies Roundup. I'm your host, Jake Liker, and it is currently 9:16 p.m. here in LA. We've got another great show planned for you guys tonight. We're actually shaking things up here. Instead of doing a whole prediction show for the NFL, we're going a little first take style tonight. Predictions are going to be provided, but we're not going in depth. There are just too many interesting stories to debate about. I mean, this week of sports has seen a cookie monster, free beer, peeing in the pool, a stripper named Sweet Pea, and a lot more. So we got you guys covered tonight. On a personal note, I've been sick for the past 2 days, and I'm still not completely better, but I'm powering through tonight for you guys, because I'm determined to come back from an injury sooner than Derrick Rose did. Hashtag the return. I kid Derrick Rose, but we'll get to that later. I plead you guys to keep listening, and you did come through, sort of. After 55 views in episode 8, we got back to 88 for episode 9 and 83 for episode 10. However, that's still below average for the show. In 10 episodes, we've had 923 views. So for the mathematicians out there, our average is 92.3 listeners per show. So my goal for this week is for our episode's view count to be higher than Alex Smith's QB rating this week. No, Jay Cutler's QB rating this week. I'll set the bar low to begin the trend. Also, if you are viewer number 77 for this episode, you are Rookies Roundup's number 1,000th video viewer. It's legit. It's not like those Internet Explorer ads where they sell you iPads for your credit card number. No, we're not that sketchy here at Rookies Roundup. We're going to have 2 guests for you on the show, which makes for a lot of debates and a lot of opinions. If you have something to say about a stripper named Sweet Pea or anything else, preferably something else, give us a call at 310-922-9536. If you're not listening to the show live, but still have a question or just something to say, I promise I don't bite. Say something in the comment section below, and I will answer your question on the next show. Because we're inclusive like that on Rookies Roundup. Rookies Roundup is part of the National Sports family on Spreaker.com, and we always have fresh takes on national sports from across the country. We really are national sports. We got guys in LA, the Bay Area, Oregon, Washington, Chicago, Miami, New York, Boston, and more. We come from all different places, but we have the same passion, sports, and broadcasting for you guys. There's always something going on in national sports that you won't want to miss. To keep up with all of our epicness, like us on our Facebook page, National Sports. Follow us on Twitter at allcapsnationalsports1. And even if you aren't a hipster, you should still check out our Instagram page at national_sports. Just a couple of notes before we start the show. Next week will be our 1000th show special. Since we really are national sports, I'll be broadcasting live from Green Bay next week. It's going to be our best show yet. The Packers are playing the Lions. They're coming off a bye week. Maybe it's a long shot. We might just have one healthy, somewhat mediocre running back. Cheeseheads will not be provided, though. Couple more, again, so just 2 more notes before we start the show. The Facebook page, I promised you guys, still isn't up yet because I've been stressed after missing school, being sick. I've had tons of work to catch up on, and I was prepping for a debate tournament that I would be at right now, but missed because I'm sick. So when I have time, the page will be up. Lastly, this show is great, as you know, and every second is pure gold. But if you're as impatient as RG3 in the pocket and only want to listen to certain segments, we've got you covered as usual. Times of each segment will be posted in the description box after the show. If you're confused, listen to our previous episodes and I explain a little more, I promise. Just listen to as much as you can. We can make it worth your time. So, before we bring in our first guest, we're going to take a short little break. I'll have somebody from Chicago on the air. We'll see how he feels about my Derrick Rose comments. We'll kick off the show. When we come back, don't go anywhere. All right. And we are back, and as promised, I brought a guest with me. It's Noah Porter from Chicago. Noah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting better. So, like I said, we got a lot to talk about. So, let's begin with NFL picks. But literally just one word, who are you picking for each game? We will make it very, very simple. So first, what do you think of the Thursday night game?
The Thursday night game, that was an interesting game, but Rams were definitely outmatched. They were no competition for the Niners, who obviously were the favorites going into this week.
Yeah, nobody was really surprised by that, although I gotta say, my one least favorite thing about Thursday Night Football, besides the terrible matchups, is for some reason I just cannot stand the announcers. I don't know why. They just... Whatever. Maybe if they get some better games, they'll somehow get better. Whatever. Well, we do have a lot of good games in other places this week that'll be on channels like Fox and CBS with better announcers, or at least we'll get better matchups, and that's what we really watch football for. So without further ado, let's get into it. Baltimore goes to Buffalo. Who are you picking?
I'm going to take the Ravens in a close one. I think the Bills have shown that they're able to compete with good teams, but they're not necessarily an elite team yet, and I just think the Ravens have that little bit extra bit of experience. The Bills could win the game. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to take the Ravens by 3.
It's all about momentum. Baltimore won last week in Houston. That was a big game. And Buffalo lost to the Jets. I just don't know if Manuel's ready for the beast that is Terrell Suggs. So we both say Ravens. Moving on. Cleveland. I really did not give them a chance last week. I went 9-7 in picks last week, which sounds bad, but the national average was actually 8-8. That's how many shockers there were last week. So, yeah, that should be a new catchphrase. Rookies Roundup. We're slightly above average. Speaking of above average, though, Cincinnati. They beat the Packers. My Packers. Our Packers, I should say. Cleveland's hosting them. Can Cleveland pull the magic again, or is this the Bengals game to lose?
The Browns, if you call Magic being the Vikings and Christian Ponder's the low-par quarterback, and Matt Castle could take his job eventually. I think the Bengals should win this game. I think A.J. Green is just too good. No offense to the Browns, who showed that they were a good team last week, and Brian Hoyer played averagely well, I guess. But the Bengals are a little bit better, Devon Bernard is playing really, really well. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Bengals here.
Cleveland's still Cleveland. Hoyer is still Hoyer. We're still looking at a team that has 20 different starting quarterbacks since 1999. No way I'm picking against Cleveland in this one. Cincy wins. Now, here's an interesting one. For some reason, I have a really bad track record with NFC North games this year, which is kind of ironic because that's my division. Chicago travels to Detroit. The Bears are somehow 3-0. Detroit's 2-1. Who wins?
Well, this is a tough one. The Bears are lucky to come out of those first 2 weeks where they, in both weeks, deserved to lose their games and just managed to win it in the end. But I'm going to take them again this week. I do think that the Lions, if they perform well and don't commit silly turnovers against a really good turnover defense, then I think they can win the game. But barring that, I think the Bears are the better team. I think Matt Forte is running really well. I think Brandon Marshall continues to have a good year, and I think the Bears are going to win this one.
I'm going to agree. That's all I really have to say here. Ndamukong Suh, however, I want to see how Cutler reacts to Suh. I was watching First Take the other day, and I heard Skip Bayless called Jay Cutler Jay Clutchler. I really thought I had to double take there. Man, I feel for Skip Bayless, but calling Jay Cutler Clutchler, it doesn't make sense to me. If you're clutch, you're not gonna exit the NFC Championship game with a finger injury. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Kansas City, New York. Giants visit Arrowhead Stadium. It is going to be loud there. As if there wasn't enough noise surrounding this team. The Giants, they're 0-3. The Chiefs are 3-0. Really two teams at the opposite ends of the spectrum. Who you pick?
I think that if we had looked at this at the beginning of the year, even seeing people who are high on the Chiefs wouldn't necessarily say that they would expect the Giants to be facing off against them in week 4 as the winless team. But the Giants are just a puzzling team, They should have come into this year and been a lot better. I didn't expect Eli Manning to not perform at the level he should. David Wilson has just been awful, to be nice to him. And I got to pick the Chiefs here again. I think the Giants are a good team, but Arrowhead Stadium, as you said, is loud. It's a big home field advantage there. I think that Alex Smith has just been on top of his game, and Jamal Charles is just a monster. It's just so good. And I'm going to take the Chiefs. Maybe not the blowout, but I'm going to say by at least 10 points.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Giants, it's very simple. The Giants have given me no reason to pick them, and the Kansas City Chiefs have given me no reason not to pick them. So now we move across the pond, where London is going to have a treat, I guess you'd call it. Anything beats crumpets, I guess, even if it is the Vikings hosting the Steelers. Well, not really hosting, but technically counts as a home game for Minnesota. Vikings Steelers, both teams are 0-3. Lesser of the two evils. Who wins?
I don't like the Steelers at all. At the beginning of the year, I said that they were one of the worst teams in football, in my opinion. A lot of people were saying, oh no, they can still win the division in a much weaker division. But especially after that awful performance against Tennessee, I knew immediately they weren't a good team. And for all of Ponder's faults and for all of that Minnesota team's faults, I think it comes down to Adrian Peterson. And I think Adrian Peterson will have a good week. And I think the Vikings will end the Steelers in a game that will actually mean nothing in terms of the NFL playoff position at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to apologize beforehand to the entire city of London that you have to watch this. This is going to be a nice change. The Vikings are actually going to have a lot of people watching them play. I'll take Minnesota because Pittsburgh has just been so god-awful, which I did predict, although I didn't see such an atrocious start from them. I think Peterson could step up. I like Matt Castle. At least I like him against the Steelers. In this case, Minnesota wins. And then you've got just a really weird game here. You've got Arizona visiting Tampa Bay. The situation going on with the Buccaneers makes them seem as dysfunctional as the Kardashians. Who wins?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. I think that the Buccaneers now, they're transferring from Freeman over to Glennon. And when you're transferring like that, quarterback changes take a little time to get situated. I think the Cardinals, though they are 1-2, have maybe surpassed my expectations, even though I wouldn't say they're a good team. I'd say they're mediocre at best. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. I like how Tyrann Mathieu has played. He's one of my candidates for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Carson Palmer, he's not that great, but he's been playing decent. And obviously they have Larry Fitzgerald. I'm going to take the Cardinals in a matchup that I will not be watching.
As much as I cannot stand Greg Schiano, I'm literally at a point where I'd rather have Rex Ryan be my coach than Greg Schiano because he's really sabotaged this team. I just don't have it in me to pick Arizona. I think Tampa Bay is going to try and turn this into a turning point game at 0-3. This is a wake-up call for them, in a sense, whether it's a good one or not. I watched Mike Glennon play at college. I liked what I saw from him. And we're still talking about Doug Martin playing against the Arizona Cardinals. So, for better or worse, I'm taking the Buccaneers, the Kardashians, over the Cards.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I don't see much. I wouldn't be surprised either. No, not that I really care who wins this game. I don't think either team is good. It could go either way. I'm still going to pick the Cardinals, but if the Buccaneers win, I wouldn't have a heart attack of shock.
Yeah, speaking of games that you don't plan on watching, this is probably another one of those games. The Colts visit Jacksonville. Maybe 10 people will show up or something. I don't know. It'll be exciting. Let's have a competition. What will be the higher total? Colts points scored or Jaguars attendance? It's going to be neck and neck, I have a feeling. If you were picking Jackson, can we skip this game? Just say Indianapolis if you're picking Indianapolis.
Yeah. This is interesting. The comment of the Jaguars. I think you're a little nice with the 10 prediction. Maybe we'll have maybe they will get 10, but by the end of the game, they will only have one loss, and that's the fact that Truckin has no idea what game he's at. I think he's at Super Bowl 1.
They have free beer there. Anything can happen. Maybe they'll get so drunk that they'll think that they're at the Super Bowl. Who knows? They'll need a lot of beer.
Maybe. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. I would be interested to see if the Jaguars can actually, if the Jaguars play well, how many fans stay? But then by the fourth quarter when they're losing by 30, how many fans are there then?
I don't know.
I think the Colts will win.
Yeah, Indianapolis. There are other games worth our time a lot more, and this is definitely one of those games. Seattle and Houston. Houston's coming off a devastating 30-9 loss at home against Baltimore, who played without Ed Reed. Seahawks are coming off a big win over the Jaguars. Seattle enters Houston. What do we happen here? What will happen?
Oh, well, I love Seattle, actually. I was thinking the Niners were a little bit better up until I saw them play against Seahawks, and it just made a Seahawks believer. I don't like to say it. I wish the Packers were a better team at this point, but the Seahawks definitely look like the best team in the NFC, and barring, I think the Broncos are maybe slightly better, but the Seahawks are definitely a really, really good team. I'm going to have to take the Seahawks over the Texans here. I think the Seahawks are bound to go to the Super Bowl at this rate. And the Texans are good. Arian Foster, those Texans performed. I don't think he's going to perform this game, especially the way Seahawks handle the run. I'm taking the Seahawks in this one.
Here's the thing. I've been all over Seattle from the start of the preseason. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I picked them to win a lot of games. I'm impressed with them. I'm really wooed by them. However, I like Houston this game. I like the way they match up because the Seahawks are coming off a cushy game against the Jaguars. They're not going to know what hits them when they face off against this the Houston secondary. Guys like Jonathan Joseph are a complete upgrade from the Jaguars secondary. I don't think Wilson's going to know what hit him. I think the Texans are going to have the fire. I'm going to take Houston in this one. You're not going to see Seattle lose a lot. I think this is going to be one of those weeks. I think it just sets up too nicely for Houston to lose.
Yeah, I think the Texans are a good team. I won't lie. I think they're still the best team in the AFC South by a marginal amount. I think the Colts are getting better slowly. But I just don't see them bouncing back from that tough week against the Ravens. Sure, Henry is out, it's an emotional week for the Ravens with Ray Lewis getting honored. But I think the Texans are just not performing as well as they should. If Arian Foster doesn't show up, I don't think they can win. Seattle's already proven they can win without Marshawn Lynch, because Marshawn Lynch hasn't been the Marshawn Lynch we expected to see. Only great enough to beast mode against the Niners. But I still think Seattle's slightly better. If Houston wins this game, though, it's a big confidence booster for them. It can really help them get the momentum back going in their direction and push them towards another division title.
I hope that I am right for once, because I can't stand Seattle. I don't like anything about the Seahawks, except for Sherman. It's weird that I actually have a soft spot for Sherman. I hope I'm right. I'll be rooting hard against the Seahawks this week and every week. So there you have it. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a great game. I don't know why on earth they made this a morning game. But that's the way it's going to be. Then the afternoon games. The Jets and the Titans. Wow. Talk about mediocrity holding sway. Who wins?
I'm so excited to watch this one. This is the best matchup ever. No, it's kind of boring. You know, I like Geno Smith. I'm kind of on his bandwagon. I hope he performs well. I don't know what it is about him. I just like him. I don't think he's necessarily a good guy or anything. Just I'm drawn to his personality, and I think he played averagely well, besides his turnover issue, but that'll go away with time. I think he'd be a good quarterback. But just, I'm going to go with the Titans here. I think they've actually been playing well. I think they're a decent team, surprisingly. I think they've been able to perform well, and they're a sneaky team. They're not a team that jumps out at you like a terrific team. But they did play well against Houston. They pushed them to the edge. Houston was looking a little worried, and if it wasn't for that, Houston could have been in a hole right now. But I'm going to go with the Titans here. Sorry to the Jets. I want them to win, but I think the Titans will sneak away with a victory here and there in Nashville.
America, it's time to wake up. The Tennessee Titans could potentially be a playoff team. It sounds weird to say, but I am absolutely loving what I'm seeing. And we're still talking about the Jets. Don't let the record deceive you. The games that they've won, they have been incredibly sloppy in. Titans. I don't think it's even going to be close, to be honest. I think Tennessee's going to win this one, and I think CJ2K is going to have a fantastic game. Philly and Denver. If the Broncos could pick any defense to play against, the Eagles would be somewhere at the top of the list. The Broncos were at a point they're at the point where when they played against the Raiders, they played rock, paper, scissors in the huddle between the three running backs to see who would get the touchdown carry. Not how they would get the touchdown carry or if they would get the touchdown carry, but who. Sure enough, it was a touchdown carry. I believe it was Ronnie Hillman who got it? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But they did play rock, paper, scissors. So, will Denver rock, paper, scissors their way through Philadelphia, or will Chip Kelly's offense be fast enough?
I don't think the Eagles stand a chance in this one. Their defense has so many holes, like Swiss cheese. Right through it. They're like, the Broncos will have no problem. Peyton Manning is too good of a quarterback to have an issue against this team. And I like the Eagles. I feel like I hope they do better. Partially because I hope that Blake's team has a better year. But they've been struggling. They got manhandled by the Chiefs. And they haven't looked good in any game. Even the game they won, they didn't look good. The Broncos will be all over this team. The Eagles will be lucky if they came within 3 touchdowns.
Denver. That's all that really needs to be said. The Broncos' offense is too good. The Eagles' defense is too bad. It's as simple as that. But some games are a lot more complicated, and Oakland, Washington is one of those games. The Raiders are hosting the Redskins. Just got an alert from the the San Francisco Chronicle, that Terrell Pryor will be starting. Interestingly enough. So, who you have in this one?
I'm gonna go with the Raiders here. I think the Redskins are playing pretty badly. They're not playing at the level they should. Chris Griffin is still moving back in, but I think this season is already over for them. I think they could come back and they could end up playing better, maybe getting 9 or 10 wins. But I just don't see the team performing. I like the team. I just don't think that they are playing how they should. I like Terrell Pryor a lot, though. Concussed or not, I think he's a really good quarterback. And sure, this might be a slight Ohio State bias because he is one of the products of Ohio State. But I think that they will play well. I think the Raiders are going to take this one in the close one.
All right. You know, I'm sorry, my phone is literally blowing up right. Well, not literally, but so I mentioned that we'd have 2 guests tonight. I just want to welcome on Carl Mogline onto the show. Carl, you are on the show with me, and Noah Tabor has been holding the fort down as well. How you doing?
I am good and really happy because the Ducks are, in a word, whooping the California Bears. So that's good.
Yeah,
That's a good game right now.
You know who else is good, though? I think the Oakland Raiders are good. or more so the Robert Griffin III is bad. I am going to take the Raiders over the Redskins. Carl, we're just finishing up some NFL picks. Raiders or Redskins? We just found out that Terrell Pryor is going to be starting, not Matt Flynn. So who do you take, Raiders or Redskins?
See, if Mike Shanahan was smart, that he could win this game with Kirk Cousins, but because he isn't as starting RG3, you gotta go with Oakland and Terrell Pryor, who is really showing he has the ability to be a strong NFL quarterback.
Yeah. All right. Hold on, we've got a bunch of people literally calling in right now. I'm trying to get 3 people into the show at the same time. Here. You know what? This is live, but we don't have to make it live, because in times of panic, as all good live shows do, you cut to commercial. So we are going to cut to commercial, because this is turning into more confusing than the Washington Redskins QB situation. So when we get back, we will hopefully have everything sorted out. Stay right there. Who knows who will still be on the line? 3 are on. Who will still be there? We'll be back in 60 or more seconds.
Hi, this is Sam Rosen, and I'm here with Sam's Situation.
Good afternoon, and welcome into the corner. It's Chris's Corner here on Spreaker.com, a national sports affiliate.
Hello, and welcome to the Cameron Sadeghi Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Deep Sports Coffee. This is affiliated with National Sports.
Cameron Sadeghi, Chris Sylvester, Sam Rosen, Andrew Goldstein, Daniel Levy, and the entire broadcast crew. With Commissioner Robert Dieters, you are live from National Sports Radio Station in Los Angeles, California.
Well, first, if anything, that was proof that we really are live here on Rookies Roundup. So I appreciate any of you who are listening in right now. Again, if you are listener number 77, which hopefully we are hitting up soon, you're going to be our 1,000th viewer. So, we still have 3 in. Hopefully we'll get that 4th caller and Robert Dieters in. We're just trying to contact him right now. So, let's just recap. Noah, you picked... I picked Oakland, Carl, you picked Oakland, and Noah, who'd you pick again?
I picked Oakland as well.
Alright, so we all picked Raiders. Glad to get back on track. We have one more afternoon game to talk about. That would be Dallas and San Diego. Carl, I'll start with you. Chargers or Cowboys?
See, I would really like this to be an easier pick, but for some reason it's hard, and the only reason it's hard is because the way the Chargers have closed out games. But I like this Chargers team, and Tony Romo is just kind of limping along right now. I gotta pick the Chargers.
All right, Noah?
I'm going to differ on that play. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys in this one. I think that they competed against a good Chiefs defense, actually, surprisingly. They played well in all of their games. They managed to stay close in every game they've played. I think the Cowboys are looking a little bit better, and I think they'll make the playoffs because of how weak their division is, and I think they're going to get a good win here against San Diego.
All right. I'm going to take the Chargers. These are 2 teams who are the best in the league at making mistakes, so I'm literally picking San Diego just because they are the home team. Chargers over the Cowboys. And then the Sunday night game. Now, this is a good game. Anyone else notice that all the Sunday night matchups this year are really, really good? If you look at the schedule, they're pretty strong. Atlanta hosts New England. Falcons, Patriots. Who wins? Noah, you first this time.
Oh, Falcons, Patriots. That's a good matchup. The Patriots have been not as good as you would expect. They haven't played great in all of their matchups. And you can attribute that to their having to get used to playing without their double tight end formation, without those 2 really, really good tight ends. And I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one. Yeah, they're all 1-2, and they have struggled at times. And the Patriots are 3-0, but I like Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan is a good quarterback. In a lot of ways, it struggled, but Jones has been phenomenal. I gotta say that the Patriots just haven't performed as well. And if it wasn't for the fact that they struggled against so many teams, I would be taking the Patriots right now. But I'm gonna go with the Falcons, even though I'm not 100% sure on that pick.
Yeah, when it comes to the Falcons, there's almost like a flow chart you might as well use. Is Atlanta at home? Or is Atlanta in the playoffs? If the answers to those are respectively yes and no, the Falcons are going to win the game. I really trust Matt Ryan, and I think the Patriots have been too sloppy as of late. They got a cush game last week against Tampa Bay, who for some reason I picked. Hopefully they won't screw me over again this week. But yeah, I'm going the ATL. Carl, quickly, one word, Falcons or Patriots, because we really do have to move on, and the stripper named Sweet Pea really deserves our time, as does O.J. Simpson, the Cookie Monster. So.
Wait, I only get one word. I feel like this is cheap.
Oh, fine. I'll give you a sentence, and then we'll all do one word for Monday Night Games.
I am picking the New England Patriots.
Wait, what? Why? Why the Patriots?
The Patriots? Okay, this is just off your own things. You pick. I'm picking which team has performed better. You gotta look. Alright, here's the difference. A 1-2 team and a 3-0 team. Tom Brady is still a great quarterback, and we kind of forget this at times.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that he doesn't have Rob Gronkowski, so I'm definitely easy pick for Atlanta. Alright, literally one word. Noah, Saints or Dolphins?
Dolphins.
Carl.
Well, if I have to say in one word, Dolphins.
You guys are...
More than one word in the answer.
Hold on.
I
I made us an exception that if we seriously disagreed on this, I have to tell you both that you were wrong on this one. How can you pick against the Saints at home?
Wait, okay, Jake. At camp, you were on the bus back from the Rose Bowl with me, weren't you?
Yes.
Did you miss every single person on that bus yelling at me?
About what? I don't know.
The fact that did you? All right, I have a rant that I continually say. It's about home field advantage and the fact that I don't think it's this 10-point difference that you guys are putting it at.
All right. Well, remember how I mentioned that we had literally so many people calling in right now? You guys really came through when I said more people should listen. We now welcome in our third guest. We now have 4 people on air at the same time. Robert Dieters. Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jay.
Robert,
How are you?
I'm good. We're just finishing up our NFL picks. So, Saints or Dolphins?
Oh, this is the best game of the week. Monday Night Football. The only reason why I'm going to go with the Saints is it's at home on a Monday night. I'm feeling good about Drew Brees. I think he's going to get 3 passing touchdowns. I think it's going to be close, though. If I just say the score, I would say 21-14, Saints win.
Finally, somebody gets where I'm coming from here. Now, we could talk about football all day, but this is a sports show, not just a football show. Everybody deserves our attention.
Wait, Jake, can I have one more word on that game?
If it's literally a word.
Oh, gee.
Wait, can I have 3 words?
Just speak. Go.
Dolphins over Colts. And I quote, never pick against the Colts at home. What happens when you say never to pick against a team at home? They always lose, Jake.
I'll take New Orleans at home over the Colts at home. Now, I told you guys we were going to do a little more first take style tonight, and I got a bunch of topics prepared. Some serious, some not as much. I'm going to talk about the most polarizing one for me right now because it bothers me so much, and I don't know why I have such a visceral reaction to this, but I do. So, Greg Schiano has now benched Josh Freeman. He won't even commit to having Josh Freeman as a backup quarterback right now. That's how stingy he's being. If you ask me, Greg Schiano has been holding this franchise hostage. He has driven out really good guys like Aqib Talib, Kel Winslow, and now Freeman. He set him up to fail. Freeman had less than 30 passes in the preseason. Glennon had over 70. Schiano already had a good relationship with Glennon. I don't like it at all. What do you guys think about it? Any one of you, just jump in. Okay, fine. Noah. Fine, I guess I'll take this. No, go ahead.
Okay, so the last shot. And the Buccaneers are already not a team that we're really competing for the playoffs. And though I understand that Gianna wants to move in a different direction and maybe wants to salvage the season, there's not really a season to salvage. I don't think they're a good enough team, even with a possibly better quarterback. I think you give Freeman his shot. Maybe he goes back up. Maybe he starts playing better. But either way, I don't think this Bucs team was a good team.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with you there, but I think this team actually had potential at one point. Keep in mind, when Raheem Morris was inexplicably fired, and I absolutely loved him, and I thought the Buccaneers were really a franchise on the rise, they were 10-6. And that was a year when there were 3 10-6 teams in the NFC contending for one playoff spot, and the Packers ended up getting it. The Giants and the Buccaneers both missed out. They fired Morris, and Schiano has driven this thing into the ground. I mean, there have been rumors that he already didn't like Freeman in the first place because they thought he was too easygoing, and that they sabotaged the captain vote, and that Freeman wasn't in the team picture. Carl, what do you think? Is Schiano to blame, or is Freeman to blame?
I don't see a reason that Freeman's to blame for this. I mean, he hasn't been playing his best, but you gotta let your quarterback go through what he needs to go in a season. But I do want to say some things about Mike Glennon, because he is a quarterback I really like. He's 6'7", and his view of the field is just outstanding. He can stand in the pocket and make great throws. So I know this is a bad decision, but I would like to say Mike Glennon is definitely going to I think he'll be a successful quarterback.
I do like Mike Glennon, but I'm going to take the Michael Jackson impersonator over the Napoleon Dynamite impersonator every single time. Dieters, Freeman is to blame, or is Schiano to blame?
Freeman has not done well at all. You know, the Buccaneers should have probably beat the Jets. He went 15 for 31 with a 48.4 completion percentage. Second week, he goes 9 for 22 with a 40.9 completion percentage. Then he goes 19 for 41 with a 46.3 completion percentage. And so far, he has not gone over 250 yards in the passing. And so far, he's had 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. I don't see this guy doing well at all for this team. I'm glad they're actually benching him. The Buccaneers stink.
They stink. There's a reason they stink, Dieters.
They could be better. They could be better.
If Raheem Morris was still coach, they would be better. First,
right.
Week 1, it was not
that bad.
Josh
Freeman could do better. He's fighting for next year.
He set record.
He's not going to have a contract with the Bucs next year.
He had career numbers left. And now all of a sudden
we're talking about the past. We're going right now to the present.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
He stinks
right
now.
But now he's mysteriously starts sinking after setting career-setting numbers. No, it's because Schiano has clearly wanted Glennon from the start. He has set this up, and this is why. And by the way, for Week 1, it was not Freeman's fault that they lost that game. I think it was Navarro Bowman who committed the personal foul, unnecessary roughness, and that set up the field goal. So I can't really blame Freeman for that. I just didn't like him. All right. Clearly, we are going to have a lot more opinions coming our way, and we have a lot more topics. So, what should we do? There's so many good things to do. How about... No, I know this one's going to probably hit home to you because you're a big Bulls fan. Derrick Rose was asked once again if he thinks that he is the best player in the NBA. He basically responded, yes, I believe if you want to be the best player in the NBA, you have to have that confidence. Now, if you were Derrick Rose and you were being asked if you were the best player in the NBA, what would you say?
I'd say I would be the best player in the NBA. Even if I wasn't at his caliber, you always want to have that confidence. And I think that a lot of how you play in games, a lot of how you bounce back from injuries, is self-confidence. If you don't have confidence in yourself, how can you have confidence when you play? I think Derrick Rose is making the right steps toward going back. And sure, he might not actually end up playing like the best player, but I think this confidence gives him what he needs. It's a little bit of fire, and now he has something to prove. He has to prove that he is the best player.
All right. You know, I feel like this is one of those perfect times for a politician to answer, because he can't say no, because we know how hard Bulls fans have been on him. I mean, he sits out trying to save his career by not going in too early for a season that's already a lost cause, and now you've got people trying to sue him and stuff. So, I mean, you can't just go out and say you're not the best player, but it's also obviously a blatant lie. I don't know. Carl, if you are Derrick Rose, what would you answer to that question?
See, I like his answer because it's true. If you want to be the best player, and he has a chance to be the best player, you need to have that confidence. He was the MVP just in 2011. I think people kind of forget that. That his last really strong season, his last season where he played fully healthy all the way through the year, the last season he played 81 games, was the year he won MVP. So he does have a case to say he can be the best player in the NBA. I think it's a strong answer. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, I'll tell you this, it's a lot stronger than his ACL. Dieters, what do you think? What would you say?
I would say LeBron is the best player ever.
Oh, wait, ever? Ever. Over Michael Jordan, ever.
Yes.
Oh, it's going down. No. Forget what D-Rose would say. Let's do it. LBJ versus MJ right now. Dieters, tell me why on earth, what has infected you to believe that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan already?
Once he wins 3 NBA championships in a row, he becomes the best player ever. Once that happens...
That hasn't happened yet.
It's going to happen, though. It's going to happen.
I think it will. I just don't think you can't say...
It's common sense. It's common sense.
Common sense is picking the guy who never lost in the finals, is unanimously, except for Karl Malone, how bitter he is, the best player to ever play in the NBA.
Still, I think LeBron James is the best player.
With Michael Jordan, I don't think that LeBron James is better than him. I don't think LeBron James will ever be better than him. I don't think anybody will ever be better than Michael Jordan. I think that human evolution basically hit a plateau when Michael Jordan left the NBA. I don't think we will ever see that ever again. And if we do, it is certainly not in the form of LeBron James. No.
You're jumping a little bit there with saying that nobody ever will do it. I think every record was meant to be broken. Every title was meant to be broken. It might not be LeBron James. It might be somebody else. But just on the point, who is better? Right now, I feel like Michael Jordan. I mean, averaging 28 points per game in your rookie year, that's ridiculous. Averaging 37.1 in your third season in the NBA, following up with 35 points, and not dropping for 30 for 4 years is just ridiculous. Michael Jordan was unstoppable. And how many people have actually watched him play? So many LeBron lovers say, LeBron is so much better. And then you ask them, have you ever watched Michael Jordan play in a game? And their answer is no. Because Michael Jordan played with grace. He played with beauty. Everything he did looked perfect. There was nothing that looked wrong in his game. He was just unstoppable. He went out there to kill the other team. And he did that.
If everything he does is perfect, and he did nothing wrong, then how can you beat that? How can somebody be better than that if every single thing he did was perfect?
I'm going to go to Noah here because, just saying, he's the biggest Bulls fan ever, okay? He's going to defend his Bulls. I don't go like, Steph Curry is the best player ever. Klay Thompson is the best shooting guard. I don't say that.
Carl's been quiet over there. Carl, let's let Carl speak here. He's been quiet.
I'm not a Bulls fan.
Neither am I.
I'm a Trailblazers fan, so...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, very, very far from a Bulls fan. But, I gotta say something. Right now, LeBron James has not eclipsed what Michael Jordan did in his career.
Thank you.
By the end of his career, LeBron James has a chance to pass MJ, but it is not currently there. He will need to finish his career. He'll need at least probably 8 more years and at least probably 5 championships more to eclipse MJ.
How many more champions? Not 1.
He needs 5 more.
Not 2.
5 more.
Not 3.
5?
Not 4.
Are you kidding me?
5.
He better.
Listen, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm not biased.
Give him 7.
Dieters, you felt pretty strongly about this one. What do you think?
I wouldn't say 7 though.
That's where he eclipsed.
I'd at least give him like 5. 5 makes him way better.
Ow!
Might not be with the Heat next year. You never know.
There is a big argument here that for why I think that Michael Jordan nobody will ever be better than Michael Jordan, because nobody will ever have to play against the level of competition Michael Jordan did. I mean, the talent of that league of that era was
There's good talent now, though.
Nothing like back then, though.
Okay, tell me. Okay, so out of all the teams right now, what do you consider not competition?
No, I'm talking about the individual player.
Wait, okay. Okay, so what individuals would? Okay, so what are the
Listen,
top 5?
This is a great era right now, but it wasn't like MJ's era. It wasn't not.
Right now.
What?
Jake, I'm asking you, what would be the top 5 players right now?
Right now of all time, or in the league right now?
Right now in the NBA, competition right now.
The competition, you've got, let's see, LeBron, Kobe. I mean,
Kobe's getting old though, but okay.
He's still too clutch for me to take him off, and I'm a Laker fan, and I'll admit there's a little bias in there. And the next,
a little bit. There's a lot in that.
Don't start about bias, Mr. Oregon's number. Carl, you're one to talk about bias if you think that Oregon deserves to be number 1 here. So don't bring up the bias argument.
Hey, save that for. I don't know when we're doing my show. We're doing my show in a couple days. Save that for that, Jake. You were sick last time, and I have a whole. I don't know. I believe it's now up to 48 points, but it could be. Excuse me. I now have 55 points.
They played against Cal. It doesn't count.
Cal only beat Ohio State by 18. Oregon is currently up by 52 points.
Congratulations.
God, we are.
I'm Stanford 1. Because Oregon doesn't have a kicker.
Guys, we are getting all over the place right now. I think we got to bring it back in. But a team that apparently wasn't able to bring it back in, or hold it in, I should say, were the Los Angeles Dodgers. Apparently during that pool party, a bunch of them bragged about peeing in that pool. I'm a Dodger fan, and I was already disgusted by this, and I'm hearing this report, and it only makes me madder. Dieters, you're a Giants fan. I'm assuming you have some very strong words to say about this. What's your take?
I mean, peeing in a pool is pretty disrespectful, but they're the Dodgers. They're the Dodgers. I don't really expect much from them, but, I don't know. They celebrate the way they can, but they shouldn't, go in the D-backs pool and be like, hey, let's pee in the pool, guys. I think that's messed up.
Yeah, it was a shameful day for me to be a Dodger fan. I mean, there's just a lot of things have been going on with the Dodgers that have made me ashamed to be a Dodger fan, and that's been happening in the Giants community too. I mean, we've just heard that a Giants fan stabbed a Dodger fan to death. I mean, earlier we heard about the crowd yelling racist comments at Adam Jones. It's just really frustrating when you're a fan of a team and you're afraid to do that, not because of their performance, but because of the way they act and because of their moral conduct. Noah, what's your take?
Well, first of all, I think people are blowing this a little out of proportion. I mean, it's men who are, they just won the division, they were struggling at the beginning of the year. It's pure adrenaline at that moment. I do think it was disgraceful, and for them to say they should have had better judgment, but at the same time, that's just emotion. I don't think they're thinking about, wait, is this going to be disrespectful to the Diamondbacks? They just did it. And though I do disagree with it, I do think it was not necessarily something that people should be debating as much.
Carl, again, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think about this?
First, before I say that, I want to clear up something on the Adam Jones thing. The initial report, it was basically he had been throwing a banana at him. It can be, but the guy came out on Twitter and said it was completely not that. It was not racially intended at all.
No, I think he said...
No, there was an apology and that was completely good, and Adam Jones completely accepted it.
If he apologized... Wait, so you're telling me he said sorry for being racist, but also I wasn't trying to be racist?
It wasn't racially led. He was doing... It was something else.
I don't know. I mean, that's like apologizing for something. You can't apologize for something and not admit that you did it.
Please say something on the pool thing.
Well, yes, go ahead.
I think it's blowing it out of proportion. Also, it's been blown out of proportion. They celebrated because they made it into the playoffs. It's the peeing thing. I think is kind of stupid and possibly not true. Because why would you pee in a pool when you're in the?
Because that's the way the Dodgers have been acting lately. I mean, I hate to say it, but Dieters is right. We've come to expect this sort of stuff from the Dodgers. It's stuff like this that makes me think they won't win the World Series. Let's talk
Because
about...
they pee in the pool, they won't win the World Series. Nice.
No. I'm just saying you gotta have your mind in the right place. Dieters, I know we gotta let you go soon, so we're gonna have one last topic. It's definitely an interesting one, and it hits hard. No pun intended, and you'll understand why. Jermichael Finley has been dealing with a concussion, and he came out and said that his son said, basically, Daddy, don't play, I don't want you to get hurt. If you're Jermichael Finley, what on earth do you do? Because, it's tough to look your kid in the eye and say, I don't care, this is my job, this is what I do. Carl, you've been quiet, so I have to let you speak first this time.
This is a really hard one for me because, what do you do when your kid says, don't do this? Jermichael Finley, he's still really young, though. He's 26 years old. It's not like he's a 35-year-old veteran where I could see it making sense. This is the time. This is the one where you just gotta tell your kid, I'm sorry, but this is my job and this is what I do. So that's what I think. And his son is also pretty young. I believe his son is currently 5.
Yeah. He's
young.
young.
I don't think, his son probably does not actually fully understand the fact that this is his dad's job, other than he really, plays this. This is. So I think I think he needs to sit down with his son and explain some stuff, and then he'll be fine. But at this point in his career, when he's 26, I don't see him. He cannot stop playing.
It's tough to sit down and, with your 5-year-old, talk about the effects of concussions. But I understand where you're coming from. Dieter, I know you gotta go. So, what do you think about this? And then you can just say some final thoughts, and we'll lead you out.
Alright, so what I'll say on this is, you can't tell I guess, as Carl said, he's still young in his prime, so you can't just say, hey, look, Dad, I don't want you to do this anymore. I can't tell my dad, oh, don't do your job anymore, so I can't get sent to this really nice private school. I can't tell him that. But I would just tell my son, hey, I got to work, and I just have a little injury, I have a little setback about the concussion, but I'll be back on the field, and you need to understand that I want to put you through school, what I'm doing right now. My job is to keep you in school, doing my job on the field and playing for football. So, he has to, his son has to understand that.
All right. Well, Dieters, thank you for weighing in on that topic. Thank you for weighing in on everything else. Of course, any LBJ versus MJ argument is an interesting one. So just any closing thoughts, any last words?
Thanks, Jake, for letting me be on your show on Rookies Roundup. It was fun, and, just a lot of debates tonight. I always like that. I always like to try to be the, Skip Bayless guy on other people's shows just to see what they act like. It actually is really fun to be the Skip Bayless. I don't know why a lot of people don't like Skip Bayless. I think it's fun.
Skip. I appreciate
because you get to start arguments with people.
Yeah.
And then they can outrun you, but you can look up some random stuff and prove them wrong. I like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. They make a good team because they argue a lot. It's an interesting show. That's pretty much all I got to close out with. You guys have a good show, and see you later, Carl and Noah.
All right. See you, Dieters. Thanks for being on.
Hey, no problem, man.
All right. And then there were 3. Noah, you're a Packer fan like me. What should Jermichael Finley do?
Needless to say, I do think the Packers should get rid of him. I think he served his purpose, and he really disappointed me. I think that there were times where he looked good, and he just didn't perform. I think you're going to have to move on to another team. But it's one of those moments that, you have to sit down with your kid and explain to them, this is something that happens. This is part of the danger of football, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. And you keep going. I think that I don't think he'll ever have a big injury, a big serious injury. Sure, it's scary to a kid. He's only 5 years old, seeing his dad like that. But I think that it's fine. I think he can keep going. And I don't think his son in the end will have any feelings about that.
Yeah. I'm not here to give parenting tips, but the problem is I don't think you can sit down with a 5-year-old until explain the whole thing with concussion. So I think he should do what he would normally do. If he's cleared to play by the doctors, he should play. Because he can, he doesn't have to let down his team. B, if he doesn't go, then who's to say he won't go anytime his son doesn't want him to play? And third, he gets to say to his son, it's alright, the doctor said it's okay. And if you tell a 5-year-old that the doctor says it's okay, it's okay. So, I'm going to say just do whatever you would do. Now, moving on, because there's still a lot to talk about. There's just so many good topics, man. Let's go with a lighter one we've been getting pretty serious. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. So, I've been talking about strippers a lot in this show, especially one named Sweet Pea. Apparently that's the way Jacoby Jones rolls. There was a whole little fiasco in a fight. Basically, he was, hit over the head with a bottle, and he was on the stripper party bus with someone named Sweet Pea, and then apparently, there was the name of a 1966 hit. The name of the song was Sweet Pea, and one of the coaches played it during practice to poke some fun at him. So, the Ravens lead the league in trolling. Noah, is this going to be any distraction or setback?
I don't think so. I think this is just another story, more hubbub in the NFL. I think that the Ravens are a very disciplined team. I think they're going to stay focused on what they need to do. This doesn't distract Jacoby Jones, though. Jacoby Jones, this is not good for him. He's been rehashing his knee injury, and you don't want to hear about the negatives. You want to hear about how his knee is getting better, not how he's getting in fights and how he's hitting people with bottles. It's just a mess for him, especially after how he's played so well in the playoffs. But just on the topic of the Ravens, I think the Ravens are fine for right now.
All right. Carl, do you think that strippers are distracting? Oh, no. Wait. Hold on. Sorry. Let me rephrase that.
You should.
I really should. Do you think that this could be a distraction for the Baltimore Ravens from Jacoby Jones?
Well, I don't know how to answer this question without laughing.
Well, I mean, her name's Sweet Pea. I mean, I think the idea is to laugh here.
Alright, it's kind of distracting, but it'll pass pretty quickly. I don't think it's gonna distract them for too long. They'll get over it in a couple days. It's a news story it's more than a news story, but still, nobody's gonna care in a couple of days. It's funny to talk about, and yes, obviously strippers are distractions. And people laugh at Jacoby Jones for probably the rest of his life for this. But overall, it's nothing special.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to point out, I agree with you guys. It's just a fun little story. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Although Sweet Pea does have a history with the Ravens. Apparently, she also had a little dust-up 10 years ago with another player of the Baltimore Ravens. So interesting to see. Let it be known on Rookies Roundup that there's a possibility, if the Ravens lose this week, Rookies Roundup has begun the curse of Sweet Pea. It's going to be a thing. But what isn't going to be a thing is EA Sports NCAA Football 15 or any other number than that. There's a lot to talk about. If you guys listen to this show, you know how I feel about the NCAA. I really, really, really do not like them.
Really don't like them.
Really don't like them. And they really haven't changed my mind at all. Apparently everybody's come together and made a settlement, all parties involved, except for the NCAA. They've said that we're going to take this to the Supreme Court if we need to, and EA and everybody else said, fine, we will see you in court if need be. The settlement was that 200,000 to 300,000 players that were featured in that football game or basketball game or any other NCAA game since 2003 will be compensated. This is going to cost several $1 million for EA Sports, and the NCAA is like, no, we don't need to. We don't need to pay these players because we own them. So Noah, I'll let you go first here. Is the NCAA here in the right, or is this completely ridiculous?
Can somebody please tell me why the NCAA are such crybabies and they complain about everything? It's so annoying. It's like having a little child screaming in your ears constantly. I mean, honestly, can they just stop complaining? No, this is ridiculous. Sure, they want their compensation and whatever. But the NCAA are just a bunch of babies. They don't know how to handle themselves, and I can't take anything they do seriously. I only like to watch their sports. I really don't like them as an organization.
I don't think anybody does. They're really the North Koreans of sports organizations and whatnot.
True.
It really couldn't be more true. Mark Emmert is the sports equivalent of Kim Jong-il. Well, without the weapons. Okay, maybe I'm a little too harsh here, but listen,
yeah, maybe you are, but I just need to say something, Jake.
Yes, go ahead.
A personal thing on you. You know how you say my intros are basically way too good? Right.
What? Yeah?
You are the master of metaphors.
Thank you. I've heard that before, actually. Believe it or not, for some reason I subconsciously use a lot of baking metaphors. I don't know why.
Really? Really?
Yes, I've referred to my friends as cake, frosting, and sprinkles. Don't even. So.
Hey, sprinkles.
Not like that. Carl, I'm not explaining this right now, man. My friends are not the equivalent of 6-month-old Yorkshire puppies or something.
Exactly. How do you come up with that? Like, that's the thing I'm talking about.
I don't know.
All right, we're getting off that.
We are getting off. What?
Let's get back to sports.
I agree here. My thing is...
Can we just please talk about the MLB now?
We will. Hold on. Just one last thing. Forbes came out with a study. This is based on the NFL CBA of how much each college football player is worth. The average college football player, even in including the schools like Tulane and UCF and Florida Atlantic, the average is...
UCF is really? UCF is an...
I don't know. They were on my mind. A little over $100,000 if they were to be compensated with a salary. It tops out the average Texas football player over $500,000, and yet the NCAA treats their players like slaves because they're doing all the work, and the NCAA gets all the money. They think it's just because they get an education, but really, like guys at Oklahoma State and a bunch of other schools where there's been scandals, it's not done a lot for them at all. It's completely disrespectful. You can't. It's just manipulative, and it is disgraceful. Now, you really want to talk about the MLB? We will talk about the MLB. There is only one person on our minds right now in the MLB, and that would be the man, the legend, Mariano Rivera. Now,
you're copying my segue.
No, hey, you're not. It's not like you.
That was copyrighted.
Don't go all NCAA on me, man. Listen, Mariano Rivera. It's always been his dream to play center field, actually. When he was a prospect, he came out into center field. I'm not even going to have an argument about whether or not he's the best closer of all time, because that is so obvious. And if you don't think that, I don't even want to hear your opinion. Noah. So, Rivera's mentioned that his forearm was hurting him. He's not going to pitch anymore. Over the last games against the Astros, they're not going against the playoffs. Should the Yankees start Rivera in center field, or put him in for an inning? Or do you think that that magical moment at Yankee Stadium was the way his career should end?
Well, I think it would have been a great way for him to end. I would like to see him play in center field, just because it seems like it would be fun, Even though he may not be that great, it would be cool to see him play. And just another thing, how he said he was the best closer. I agree with 100%, but I'm not sure. But there was somebody on ESPN who said he wasn't one of the best. I believe it was Jim Cable. And after reading a paragraph, I couldn't read anymore. I thought that was ridiculous. But I agree with you. He's the best closer. And I think it would be fun to see him play center field.
Yeah, it's not like that many people in Houston are going to be watching. Last week, one of the Astros road games against Texas on Sunday, they had lost a lot of viewers from football. Nielsen came out with their ratings. Their rating was a 0.0. Virtually 0 people watched the Astros play in Houston. That's literally how bad they are right now. But they're going to make something crazy, like 600 times as much money on their salary cap as they will this year, next year, whatever. Carl, what do you think? Do we already have our storybook ending, or do you think we need one more chapter in center field for Rivera?
I don't think it should be in center field. What I think it should be is if he can't pitch, don't put him in. And it's just because you end up at that center field and you lose some of the beauty of that last moment. Because you put him in center field and it almost seems like a joke. If he's not going to pitch, I think if he can pitch one inning, you have to put him in the ninth of that final game.
Here's the thing. Mariano Rivera has earned anything he wants. I think this is up to Rivera. If Mariano Rivera says, listen, I want to play center field, this has always been my dream, I think it would be really nice, do it. If he says, I don't want to, fine. Rivera gets the call on this one. I know it's sort of a neutral answer, but he's earned that. Rivera's way or the highway, if you ask me. We've been all over the place. Let's see what to go.
Can we please? There's one topic I want to talk in baseball.
Fine.
I'm just saying, the AL wild card is too good to not look at.
I've been too busy talking up on football and you're not doing work because I've been sick. I hear that it's crazy close out there.
Yes, it is.
It's a three-way race between the Rays, the Rangers, and the Indians, correct?
Yes. Can I just let me take this?
Go ahead. Who do you think's going to win the
I'm not doing that first. I'm just going to go over it. Basically, here's the deal. Texas and Tampa are both tied right now in the second wild card. They both have 90 wins. Cleveland is one game ahead of them. All right. Here is the current situation. Cleveland clinches with a win, or Texas or Tampa Bay loss. But from what I've read from the tiebreakers that MLB announced, Cleveland is in. Because even if they all end tied, what Cleveland has done against the other teams basically assures them a place in the wild card. Therefore, Texas and Tampa Bay would have to play, game 163 for a chance to play against Cleveland in the one-game wild card series. I think it would be really fun.
Cleveland's in? Cleveland is in the playoffs.
Not technically. I can't remember. I need to look at the wild card thing again, because the wild card, they just released how they're going to run the wild card tiebreaker for 3 teams.
If a Cleveland sports team is in the playoffs without anybody named LeBron James, this is a sign of the apocalypse. The Mayans are right. If the Indians go in, let me tell you something. Noah, who wins?
Who wins?
Who wins the wild card?
Well, the problem is you have to look at each of the teams they're playing.
Well,
Cleveland will be in. Cleveland, I think, will win because they're playing Minnesota.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that Cleveland's going to make it, and I think it's kind of ridiculous season in there. And I think you can attribute it to the fact that the teams that are playing besides them, no team has really been consistently good. The Rangers were playing so well, and then suddenly they just started falling and falling. Tampa Bay, they were playing very well. They were starting to make a run at Boston, and then they fell again. So Texas and Tampa Bay have kind of burned out both times they've had their shot. I think Cleveland is going to make it. And between Texas and Tampa Bay, I'm going to go with Texas here. I think it's going to be slim. I think in a perfect world, Texas and Tampa Bay would make it, but I think it's this world, Cleveland and Texas.
Hold on. If there is any way that Cleveland misses the playoffs, Cleveland will miss the playoffs because they play in Cleveland. So the Tampa Bay Rays are going to get the wild card if there's a way the Indians don't, and they will play the Rangers.
You want to know why the Tampa Bay Rays are going to make it in too?
Why?
Because they're playing the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays, of course, are not a very strong team. While the Rangers are playing the Angels, who are a better team. So it just comes down to who is the stronger team here.
So you're saying that the Rangers are in a situation as sticky as Canadian maple syrup?
No, it's more like it's only as sticky as Vermont maple syrup.
I'm not even talking about maple syrup right now. I can't just do this. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. If there's a way Cleveland doesn't make the playoffs, they won't make the playoffs. Are you happy? Are you happy, Carl?
I'm happy. It kind of showed the I'm happy the Central is actually getting some strength, because recently everybody thought the Central was this division that was super weak except for Texas. Well, guess what? We have a little bit in us.
Well, you know who's really happy? The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat just found out that they will be training in the Bahamas, and if they do not win the finals, I guarantee you that people are going to be pointing fingers that they were too distracting in training camp. Noah, good news or bad news for Miami? If you were, would you be happy if your favorite team, if the Bulls, announced that they'd be training in the Bahamas?
If I was a player, I'd be so happy. Going to the Bahamas is nice. It's nice and warm there, always nice temperature, and I'd be really excited. If I'm a fan, I'm not excited because I think that my team shouldn't be worried about where they're going. I think they should be staying local, focusing on what they need to be doing to get that three-peat. And I don't think there's really an issue with it. You know, they wanted to go somewhere nice. I don't think it will really affect them, but like you said, if it comes down to them not winning the title, a lot of people will point their fingers at this. I just think that's ridiculous because I don't think it has that much of an effect. But I think that this could go either way. But just for me as a person, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I am so happy that this is happening because that means there's a way Miami doesn't win. This is a complete setback. The Heat have to get things together. So while the other 29 teams are jumping for joy right now that they're not in the Bahamas in some strange way, or at least they should be, I think this is a setback for Miami, to be honest. I think that this is very easy for distractions. I mean, you know, all you need is Sweet Pea, and Miami is off the rails.
But Sweet Pea isn't... Come on, Sweet Pea is not in the Bahamas. Sweet Pea is out in Baltimore trying to lure Ravens.
If LeBron James wants Sweet Pea in Bahamas, Sweet Pea will be in the Bahamas.
Hey, don't go after LeBron James about girls, because LeBron James is actually, like...
Oh, yeah, he's married. He's married and stuff.
He's married, he has 2 kids. Yeah, he's...
Whatever. Maybe it'll be like, oh, well, like Dwayne Wade, you know? His ex-wife's kind of like a bag of crazy flakes. She's sitting, like, she screams at people on the street that Dwayne Wade is, like, evil, even though she's the one who can't see her kids and Dwayne Wade can't. Whatever. Carl, if you were you're a Blazers fan, would you be happy if you found out that the Blazers is going to be in training camp in the Bahamas?
I really don't care. They're going to train where they train. It's kind of... I don't know. I find it kind of pointless to even debate whether anybody would care. It's something interesting about the team that they're training in the Bahamas, but overall, it's not really worth that much. Sure, there's the things where they could be distracted, but it's just a experience. And this is a Heat team that I don't think, especially, they're not a team that needs this training camp as much as other teams.
Right.
I mean, they're a team that's bringing back almost all their key players, so it's not like a rebuilding team that needs this training camp to get all their pieces together. This is a team that'll be fine either way. I don't even think they could probably win a championship even if they didn't have training camp.
I don't know. There's still hope for other teams is how I see this. Now, I mean, let's face it. We've been going a little TMZ for the past 20 minutes or so. Not the most serious sports topics, but let's get into another real debate here. Because Noah said something earlier that I kind of disagreed with, so let's talk about this. Who is the best team in the NFL right now?
Today. No. Not by the end of the season.
Today.
This is not by who they play, not by who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. You want to know who the best team in the NFL is today.
Give me both. Who you think is going to end up being the best team and who the best team is right now?
Alright, so Super Bowl champ and best team right now.
Yes.
Alright, Jake, who do you think will be it?
Seattle and...
on you.
Seattle and Seattle. Noah.
I'm going to go Seattle and Seattle.
Well,
I think the Broncos are a good team, but I think Seattle's just better than them. I think their defense is too much. I do like Peyton Manning. But as I said, I think on one of your earlier shows, Jake, if you commented as well, you agreed. Peyton Manning in the playoffs isn't Peyton Manning in the regular season.
Yep, that's true. It's true, you see, but this is what happens when you try and tell people that Eli Manning has had a better career than Peyton Manning, and I stand by that, by the way. I think that Peyton Manning is better than Eli Manning, but if you're just talking about career, a career is determined in terms of rings. So technically, yes, Bill Russell did have a better career than Michael Jordan because a career is depend. Hey, you know how I feel about Michael Jordan.
He had a better career than Charles Barkley.
You know how I feel about Michael Jordan. I'm saying in a career. Well, you will look back on. You will not look back on accolades in terms of a career. This has nothing to do with better player. Peyton Manning is better than Eli Manning. Michael Jordan is better than Bill Russell or anybody else who's even touched a basketball. But in terms of career, I think it's more determined on championship. Whatever. We just went way off track. Carl. Your answer now.
Yeah, that happened. Let's go. Best. Can I make like the Seahawks defense and the Broncos offense one team and make a super team?
This isn't Burger King. You can't always have it your way. Told you, man. Food references. I don't know what it is. Now go, seriously.
Yeah, you got something with that. Seahawks right now.
And?
Super Bowl pick. Oh. See, I kind of want to break the trend. And I kind of really want to break the trend right now.
Dude, you're pulling a Brett Favre with your indecisiveness right now. Just spit it out.
Well, actually, I'm choosing to retire, but other than that, I'm going to the Jets, and other than that, I'm going to go get
are you solid, man?
Bounty scandal.
I'm gonna...
But yeah, let's go Seahawks.
Fine, there. That's all we need to hear. Alright, so we all agree, Seahawks, and so far, it's looking like I'm right, just throwing that out there.
But I worry if Russell Wilson gets hurt, this team. Okay, Marshawn Lynch or Russell Wilson gets hurt, and they're going to have some issues. One of the two.
Okay, well, Peyton Manning gets hurt, Broncos are over. That's a little bit like far-fetched predicting an injury.
The only team that could actually probably survive, like the team that, if they lose, like, their top player, whoever that may be, it would actually still be a good team.
No, it would be Cleveland.
No,
because Cleveland has nobody to lose.
That's a good one. But the team that could do it is the Bears.
Oh my god. Dude, you need the Lord. Seriously, you need, like, healing powers from heaven. Why?
I'm just saying, if they lost Jake Cutler, they could still be... I'm saying they could be as good just because their defense is so strong.
Oh, really? Really? Because that's absolutely what happened in the NFC Championship game when Caleb Haney came in and the Packers won 10-3.
Really?
Yes, really. I watched and then I got to go to the Super Bowl. Do not try and tell me. Do not compliment the Bears to me. Do not, because I will.
Dude, I'm a Vikings fan. I'll still compliment the Bears before I compliment the Packers.
I will. If you think of I will shoot you down like Plaxico Burress, man. I will shoot you down like Plaxico Burress if you try and compliment the Bears.
All right, just so you know, next week when we're live from Lambeau Field.
Not from Lambeau.
Listen,
it'll be from a Hyatt in Green Bay, but whatever.
When we're live from Green Bay, I'm going to literally look up every single Green Bay joke I can find and list them off.
I've heard all of them, man.
I'm gonna create,
and I'm sure Noah's heard more too. I mean, he's in Chicago. Like, forget the internet. I'm sure Noah's heard all the Packers jokes there are. I mean, you live in Chicago.
Yeah, I have. It's not fun to be a Packers fan in Chicago. Except for when
why are you a Packers fan? You're a Bulls fan.
And then I can just laugh at all of those Bears fans and say, we win.
Yeah, you know. But you know that Cheesehead... Don't try and insult a Packer fan. Here's the lesson. Because Cheesehead was originally an insult from Chicago fans, and instead of being insulted, we embraced it. Some dude who lived at home with his mom had a couch that was made of foam and was getting holed up, and he had this great idea to start making cheeseheads. And it didn't really become famous until some guy who had a cheesehead with him was in a plane crash. He bent down into his cheesehead, and the cheesehead saved his life. And there was a picture of a cheesehead in the snow and the broken plane at the site of the wreck. So anyway, yeah, just a quick little cheesehead lesson.
All right.
Don't insult the Packer fan.
Okay, it's my turn to pick a topic, as you know.
What is it? No, I've got like a bunch of stuff right here. How about the Jaguars trying to give fans free beer? Do you think it's gonna work? Would you show up? Well, no. Would you think more people will show up because they're offering free beer?
Yes. You want to know why? Because they're also showing Red Zone at their game. So I would seriously go just to get free beer and like watch NFL Red Zone. You know, yeah. I think it'll work. I think it'll get more fans. I think they'll actually get 5 fans instead of 2.
We've actually already established that the base number is 10, I believe.
Oh, sorry. They'll have at least 25 fans.
Oh, pretty cool. More beer drinkers than true Jaguars fans. Noah, do you think more people are going to show up, or do you think that this is just so sad? Or both?
You know, I don't know. Maybe more people do show up, maybe less. But there is a 100% chance that the people that do show up will be confused. They will think that they are not in the same place. They're definitely thinking that they're at the Patriots-Falcons game where everybody would want to be. They think they're actually watching a game that's competitive. They probably won't remember the score when they leave. But that's good for them. Maybe at least they have a story to come back with.
I can tell you this, more people will show up because of free beer to the Jaguars game than they did to the Tim Tebow 316 rally, which had a grand total of 5 non-media members.
You already went over this,
Yes, and it's a fantastic story.
All right, Jake.
What?
Can I please lead into one thing? Matt Castle is finally starting in Minnesota.
We were over this.
Yes,
but he's not starting in Minnesota. He is starting in London.
Give me
it doesn't
30
count.
seconds to show my excitedness.
Oh, right, you're a Viking fan. Go.
I am so excited that Matt Castle's finally starting.
Don't cheer.
They say it's an injury. He is injured, Christian Ponder. But truly, he probably is only half injured, and Vikings coach Leslie Frazier finally realized that Matt Castle can do this. I believe in you, Matt Castle. I believe that Matt Castle is a veteran quarterback who knows how to run an offense. He can take Adrian Peterson, and he can actually throw a ball more than 20 yards and actually hit the guy. Christian Ponder averaged, I believe it was less yards per attempt than Adrian Peterson had per carry last year. Guess what? Matt Castle can actually throw a ball 30 yards.
Dude, I would tell you that you need Jesus, but you already have purple Jesus, and that's not working out. And I'm Jewish, so yeah. It's a lost cause, much like the Vikings season. Boom.
And all I have to say is that Christian Ponder has a much more attractive wife. So in the end, he wins.
Hold on. Are we not going to talk? If we're talking about football wise, then how are we not going to talk about Ryan Tannehill?
That is true.
That is very true.
That's the only way Miami will become a football city over a basketball city. The Heat relocate to the Bahamas, and Ryan Tannehill's wife, I think her name's Lauren Tannehill, becomes the new mascot for the Dolphins. She'd be a much better logo than what they have now.
It's very, very, very true.
All right, now, what should we do? I mean, I've got 3 topics left here. Let's talk about the Rams. Said no one ever. All right, fine. St. Louis Rams. Sam Bradford's been struggling as of late. Is it time to pull the plug on Sam Bradford and draft a quarterback? This year, it's a great draft class. If you're the Rams, what do you do? Noah.
I'm going to go with drafting a quarterback. I just don't like Sam Bradford. There's nothing I like about him. I also like the Texas Longhorns, so I hate Sam Bradford. So I'd be happy to see him not starting anymore. I don't think he's the quarterback of the future for the Rams. I think they have some good players. They've drafted well. Alec Ogletree plays pretty well so far. But if they want to move in the right direction, I think that Bradford is just as perfect. Give him this year. Maybe he does play well, and then in that case you don't have to draft another quarterback. But where it stands right now, you need a new QB.
Here, I'm going to go with another baking analogy here. You are asking Sam Bradford to make a pizza, but he is only allowed to use stale dough and stale cheese and stale sauce. So no matter how much seasoning
sauce?
I don't know. No matter how much seasoning he puts on that pizza, it's still not going to taste good. What I'm trying to say here is Bradford, no matter what Bradford does, it's still never going to look good because he does not have nearly enough weapons around him. The Rams have the worst. I'm going to say that the St. Louis Rams have the worst receiving core in the NFL. The Jaguars have a better receiving core, only because they have Cecil Shorts. And the Browns have a better receiving core because they have Jordan Cameron. The Rams have surrounded Sam Bradford with nobody. They have thrown him into the ocean, and they have not given him a life vest. So,
yep, the only player they have on that team that is anything worth an considered to be an offensive weapon can be Tavon Austin. And he's still a rookie and learning his way through the NFL.
You know what his Wonderlic score was? Out of 50. Take a guess. Carl, what was his Wonderlic score?
43.
33.
43.
43. Noah, what do you think?
I don't 42.
It was 7. 7 out of 50 in one of the lowest scores in the history. So,
Jamarcus Russell may have been higher.
hey, you know what? Jamarcus Russell, you know what? The struggle is real for Jamarcus Russell. Don't bag on Jamarcus Russell. He had to play for the Raiders. Oakland changes you.
Hey, Terrell Pryor is having Oakland change him for the better.
Yeah, but you know what else changes you besides Oakland? Prison. Unless you're O.J. Simpson. I've mentioned the words Cookie Monster a lot tonight. So it turns out that O.J. Simpson was basically reprimanded in jail. I mean, I don't even know if this is really a debate for this. It's just too good of a story, not to mention. He was stealing cookies at his prison. According to the National Enquirer's Patricia Shipp, quote, the former Gridiron Great was recently caught stealing sweets from the cafeteria of the Nevada prison where he's serving a 33-year sentence for armed robbery. Guards noticed that the 66-year-old seemed to be hiding something in his clothes after lunch and seized more than a dozen oatmeal cookies from the would-be smuggler, a close source told the Enquirer, end quote. Why would you have oatmeal cookies? If you're gonna... Like, this is the worst part about prison. They have oatmeal raisin cookies there.
Because cookies are yummy. I like cookies. I would steal the cookies. Just really quickly, we should talk about Catherine Webb's her Carl Jr. commercial. Just put it out there.
No.
Pretty good commercial.
No. We've already used a Burger King slogan with "Have it your way." We can't go both ways.
Hey, I mean, if it's Catherine Webb, we can go either way, in my opinion. But okay.
You know what?
Really?
We will do this. I will let you talk about Catherine Webb because maybe, just maybe, somebody that knows Brent Musburger will be listening to this. So, this is for you, Mr. Musburger. Carl, what are your thoughts? Not Carl, sorry, Noah. Because Noah brought this up. No, that's Carl. I didn't mean Noah, Carl's Jr. commercial. What would you like to say about that?
It was pretty impressive, The state drops on her jersey, and then the jersey comes off, and there's this, that's basically porn, except not with naked people. So it was pretty funny. It was a good commercial, and then, of course, the quarterback is watching the monitor of the screen and gets sacked, and he fumbles the ball. I think it was a pretty good commercial, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brent Musburger was watching it at home right now. He's probably been doing that since it came out, so I hope he has fun doing that. But it was a pretty intriguing commercial. I was watching the whole thing, and I didn't think of changing the channel.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, and so is Alabama compared to Oregon. Yeah, I went there.
Save it for my show.
Save it for my show. No. This is America. We have First Amendment rights. That's why they're allowed to have softcore porn for Carl's Jr. commercials. Yeah. Darn it, I had such a good joke, and I lost it.
I just want to make a point. See, Catherine Webb could make money off being A.J. McCarron's girlfriend, but A.J. McCarron can't make money off being A.J. McCarron. This is what's wrong in the world.
Amen. I remember. I guess you could say that the Catherine Webb's Carl's Jr. commercial made a splash.
There
Boom.
we go.
It was too easy. God, we are so close to the end. We're so close. Speaking of bombshells, Miley Cyrus. Have you guys heard that new song 23?
I have not.
Yeah.
All right. Then here, Carl, you've had a lot to say. Just sit this one out for like the next 30 seconds, because this is just too interesting. We'll play it soon. Actually, I'll try and pull it.
Getting off topic. I'm just warning.
No, this is actually part of the debate. Noah, if you were Michael Jordan, would you be happy to hear this song, or would you be embarrassed or just saddened?
I would be embarrassed. But I think that Michael Jordan's already embarrassed enough with his performance and owner of the Bobcats. So I think that this doesn't really affect his embarrassment level. It just, actually, no, it doesn't. Makes it worse. But on the grand scope of things, his level of ownership, this just makes everything worse post-basketball.
Yeah, it's just a bad week after bad week for, bad day after bad day this week for Michael Jordan. Apparently another baby mama has come out with a lawsuit for Michael Jordan. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Hopefully LeBron doesn't go down that road. Yeah, if it were me, I don't know how I would feel, but I do know how Floyd Mayweather would feel. Apparently Floyd Mayweather said that he wants Miley Cyrus to walk him in at his next bout because she's a quote-unquote twerk queen. Twerk queen. Floyd Mayweather's words, not mine. And I'm not going to insult him at all because he would knock me out. Alright, Carl, now you can jump back in. And soon you can listen to 23. Hey, you better be excited. Last one I've got on my list is nicknames. So the NBA has decided that they're going to put nicknames on the back of the jerseys for the Heat Nets game. What do you feel about this, Carl?
My issue is like players like LeBron. You know, you got like King James. Fine, D-Wade. But not all players have nicknames, and not all players have short nicknames either. You know, can you really fit a long 3-word nickname onto the back of a jersey? I feel like there could be some issues there. Also,
wait. I'm just saying maybe they would need a new jersey. Okay. Wow. I can hear the crickets. Noah, what do you think?
I think it's fun. I think it's all in good fun, just having the jersey nicknames on there. I think that a lot of people, if LeBron doesn't have a good performance in that game, he's definitely going to take a lot of heat for that, having the King James on there. But what Carl said, if your nickname's too long, get a shorter one. It's not everybody else's fault. So they just going to have to deal with it or shorten their nickname or just have an abbreviation of their nickname. If they have 5 words, just make it down to 5 letters. That's all you need.
Man, what if here's what they should do, because I'm not a fan of this idea with the players getting to choose. I think the fans should get to vote what goes in the back of each jersey. I think that'd be fantastic. Like, it could be a quote for each of them. LeBron would be going around and it would say, quote, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach."
See, that again.
Dwayne Wade wouldn't even have a name. It would just be like T-Mobile logos all over his jersey. And that's the only reason to get T-Mobile, because Dwayne Wade's sponsoring it. Yeah. Wow. It's not like we have any sponsors on this show, but if we did, I don't think T-Mobile would be a big choice. Alright. Wow. This is how you know that we are toward the end of the show, because we're making bad puns and we're even talking about T-Mobile. Guys, is there any other topic to talk about?
You know what? I think that there's got to be a topic to talk about.
There is. There's always a talk.
There's always.
How about college football? And it can't involve Oregon. Listen, let's just talk about what.
You're doing your college football thing because you have to come on my show. I'm not letting you take stuff from my show.
I'm just saying it was very interesting watching LSU. Oh, I know what it was. How sympathetic are you for Mettenberger? I mean, how heartbreaking.
Actually,
you're rooming with this guy.
I do have something I want to talk about.
Hold on. No, I've already started a new topic. Noah, what do you think? Do you feel bad for Mettenberger, or do you think, I don't care, if he wanted to make it better, he should have gone out and won?
I think that I do feel bad for him, because saying that he just has to go out and win is too easy to say. You can say it all you want, but winning a game against a quality team is it's easier said than done. I do feel bad for him, but I can understand when people say that he can't go out and win the game. But that's what I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I feel bad for him too. I really feel for him. Carl, do you feel for him, or do you think you should have just gone out and won the game?
Alright, here's the deal. You should be able, especially with LSU's supposedly strong defense, to be able to put up 41 points and be confident you can win that game. And it's kind of sad that when this happened, they didn't. You just gotta look at what Mettenberger did, and he was not a bad game for him whatsoever. This guy just... Last year he had some issues, and you could say I really didn't love him. But today's game, he was outstanding. He had a QBR of 86, 3 touchdowns, 372 yards, 23 for 37. The completion rate, I want a little bit up, but other than that, I think he was just outstanding today. I really, really put this game onto LSU's defense for not being able to stop. Really, they could not stop Aaron Murray.
They could not call a pass interference today. I was watching that game. There was
because they didn't call it the first time, they didn't call it the rest of the game.
Which I appreciate. At least they were consistent. You know how I feel about bad officiating. I'm sure no one agrees with me.
Plays, Georgia defenders were completely were tackling the LSU receiver before they even got near the ball, and it wasn't called because of the whole game. It wasn't called.
I disagree. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. You know, I've got a good one. Here, how about this? If you had an NFL team, if you're just an NFL team, who would you take right now as an NFL quarterback between these 3 SEC quarterbacks? Mettenberger, McCarron, or Manziel? Who would you take?
Jeez, that's hard. And is this a team that wants a quarterback who's going to throw the ball and all that stuff?
This is just a team that you just think is the best overall, and this is not a package deal with their wives. Although, I'm sure Johnny Manziel will have 30 of them by that time, so it really can't be.
I'm not going to carry off that list. I think he's a good winner. I just don't think he's a franchise changer.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm knocking Manziel off that list first. I'm sorry. I am not dealing with that.
Come on.
I am not dealing with that at all. Because you know what? He can win. McCarron just proved that he can win. I think that Manziel is better than McCarron, but for an NFL franchise, I just don't want to deal with the Manziel madness.
I'm sorry. He's out there, but all he's doing is going out and playing golf and sitting courtside at basketball games. That's his thing. Compared to these other players who are getting arrested than picked into the NFL.
Oh God, sounds like some. You know what? I think you just want an autograph, Carl. I think you just want an autograph, and that's why you're being so nice to him. So I'm gonna say by default, Mettenberger, because I absolutely love what I saw. Oh, we forgot the 4th guy, Aaron Murray.
Yeah, I'd rather have Aaron Murray over Mettenberger.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Overall, consistency-wise, Aaron Murray is a better quarterback.
That's definitely true. I think Murray is much better.
I don't know why. Maybe this isn't, I'm going to say by a hair Mettenberger. Because Mettenberger, listen, I'm actually going to quote Aerosmith at this point. Because it's that late at night. You have to know how to lose to know how to win. And not saying that Mettenberger is better at losing. I'm saying that he has the sting and the fire of just heartbreaking struggle so many times, and it's those are the guys that come through. Those are the guys that come through in the NFL. Like you look at guys like Donald Driver.
Georgia lost to Clemson. Georgia lost to Clemson in heartbreaking fashion, and you're not saying that Aaron Murray has ever. Come on, Jake.
No, but it's been a lot worse because we just had a whole thing about how sympathetic we are from Murray. I don't know. It's close. If you want to say Murray, I'll take Murray. Fine. I don't know. I just feel like Murray's wrong.
All right, just give me the floor first.
I take Murray.
How about this? Teddy Bridgewater or Tosh Boyd? Bridgewater.
Not a question. I think Bridgewater is a better quarterback. I think Tosh Boyd is good. I just don't think he's as good. I think Teddy Bridgewater is on a whole other level.
Yeah, while Teddy Bridgewater may not have chicken quesadillas named after him,
you bring that up way too much.
No, I don't. You just listen to my show too much. Just kidding. You can never listen to Rookies Roundup too much. This is our 11th episode.
I'm also on your show every time.
No, but
almost.
What do you think? What's your opinion?
My opinion on the thing is, it all depends on what type of offense you want. If you want a quarterback who can run, say, the read option, you want Boyd. But if you want a quarterback who can sit in the pocket, make strong throws, then you want Bridgewater. It all depends on the type of quarterback you want.
Okay, here's what I
You
think.
want to win a Super Bowl, you want Bridgewater.
Listen,
That's just
the read option is the hipsters of the NFL because it is a passing trend that everybody thinks is going to be around for a while, but a year from now, no one's going to care. It's the Wildcat all over again. There was only one team there was only one NFL team I will ever allow to run the Wildcat, because of course I have a say in that. The Miami Dolphins. They were the only team that could really run the Wildcat efficiently.
That's true. I agree with you 100%. I mean, you already do with Colin Kaepernick. People are already starting to figure it out. And I agree with you 100%. It's a fad, and it's going to be gone soon. And I think that's why you go with Bridgewater also, because you don't want quarterbacks who will be able to only be as efficient when he can run the ball. Like Kaepernick, he's a good quarterback, but when he's taken away the aspect of the read option, he's just not as good as he is with the read option.
Yeah, if I want to win a Super Bowl, I am definitely taking Teddy Bridgewater. I think he is something else. Also, one more thing, because we are talking about guys who are on a whole nother level. Do you think Jadeveon Clowney is worth the hype?
Here's the thing I want to point out about it. Jadeveon Clowney, he's an incredible player, but he's worth the hype he got before this year. He is still the best defensive lineman in college football. No matter what you say. I was watching that game with South Carolina, and even though he only had 2 tackles and no sacks, the amount of disruption he caused, it's all because he gets double and triple teamed every play because of it. The success of that defense is so much caused by Clowney, even if it's only effect. It's only if it's Clowney affects so much by the way he is disruptive.
I think that Clowney is being set up to be Jadeveon Clowney. I'm going to throw out another one here. Analogy. I think Jadeveon Clowney is like The Blind Side. It was hyped up so much to be something so amazing that no matter how good it is, it's not going to be as good as what you expect. I mean, you have people out there saying that Clowney is a once-in-a-generation prospect.
No,
That's
he's a
not happening.
once-in-a-good
He's
5-10 years prospect.
I think he could be that good. I think he could be a once-in-a-generation player. I just think he doesn't have the work ethic for it. And I'm just one of the people who says that he doesn't have work ethic. I don't think he works hard enough, and I think he complains too much. He complains about not being in a creative role. But he complains, and he doesn't have the work ethic. And because of that, he has become overhyped.
I disagree. I think he's complaining because he's disappointed in himself, and he holds himself to such a high standard because everybody else does, that even if he is not having the most amazing game of his life every single time, he's going to complain, and he tries to point fingers, and I don't like that. But I agree, he's not a once-in-a-generation. I don't think he's a once-in-a-generation prospect. I think when you hype guys up like this, they're destined to fail. Like Steven Strasburg, for example. He was hyped up to be a once-in-a-generation sort of guy. Not as good as he was hyped up to be. Is he amazing? Absolutely. But because when there's so much hype surrounding a player, it's impossible to meet such lofty expectations.
Okay, we would say that's the same thing for the LeBron James conversation.
It's a whole different world for basketball.
That much more difficult. I'm not going to talk about that because we can't really get off topic again.
Right.
You know what we can get onto?
What? Wait, hold on. I've got one more thing we got to talk about. So, more and more now, college football coaches are signing these really young recruits. Guys that are 15, 14, even 13.
Well, those are giving offers. It's not signing them.
No, but these, I mean, do you really want to give an offer to like University of Washington? They extended an offer to a 15-year-old quarterback. I mean, is that too young?
And LSU just got a recruit, Dylan Moses, who's a wide receiver from Baton Rouge, and he just had a verbal commitment just this past week.
Yeah, that's what made me think of this. Is there such a thing as too young, Carl?
Yes. The problem is with the kids, especially the ones that are recruiting, these are the ones that are already pretty big, and that's the reason they can get noticed. Dylan Moses, I believe, is 6'2", and so he was just bigger than everybody else. He was already the size that he needed to play this position, so therefore he actually dominated the guys. Once he grows, once he becomes that normal size, once he kind of
levels out. He's just a quick he just matured faster than most people. So I think it's ridiculous to be extending the offer this soon. I don't think you should be able to extend an offer and actually extend the offer until junior year. You can, sophomore year, I don't care if you're recruiting. But junior year is the first year you should be able to give out an offer.
This is turning into basketball, if you ask me. When guys are getting recruited way too young, there is absolutely no way that you should be extending these sorts of offers to 13, 14, and 15-year-olds. You do not know what is going to happen to them. It is way too much of a risk. These kids aren't ready for it, and you're doing these kids a disservice because it's a distraction. They're only in high school. I mean, 13-year-olds, they're in middle school. I mean, just do everybody a favor. I think it's best for everybody involved if you don't start extending offers this young. No, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that recruiting people at such a young age is kind of ridiculous. Because, yeah, you do change as you get older. Some people, they're cut off the way you expect. And I think it's kind of funny because if you go on ESPN, they have the 2016 up. And it's 2016, so that's not for a while. And you scan down the list, nobody's getting recruited yet. But I put $100 that was in the next couple of, by the end of the season, half of them will already be recruited because, being recruited.
As a Packer fan, Noah, we should have learned by now never to bet on anything because it doesn't end well. We saw what happened with Rodgers not once but twice.
I mean, Ohio State already recruited somebody that's my age, Nate, for 2015 they're graduating, and that was that was a while ago. So people got 6/23/2013, 4/30/2013 was the first recruited person for my age. So I wouldn't be surprised if before March Madness, one of the top young players that's going to graduate in 2016 would be recruited.
Yeah. All right, I want one more because Carl, your show is the college football on air, so I don't want to steal too much of your thunder, but I just want to do this very quickly. What is your prediction for the national championship game? Who wins and who's runner-up? Carl.
Here's what's going to happen. Oregon,
is going to lose.
Oregon's going to win.
Oh my God, Carl! Sometimes, man.
I'm sorry. This is not
bias.
Ridiculous. You seriously think it's ridiculous for me to think Oregon's going to win?
I think it is blasphemous. It is asinine. It is unreasonable. It is disgraceful. And they are words that you should never utter. Do you watch SNL? Have you seen Jay Farrow's impersonation of Stephen A. Smith? Seth.
Yeah.
Listen. LeBron James is a dear, dear friend of mine. I love that. SNL's actually coming back tonight. Sorry. Off topic. Oregon over who?
All right. Oregon over, and you'll be happy about this, Alabama. I think Oregon and Alabama both go undefeated. They make it to the national championship game, and then Oregon beats them.
If Oregon and Alabama played each other, Alabama would blow Oregon out of the water.
Blow them out of the water?
Blow them out of the water.
I don't know if blow them out, but okay.
I think that Alabama's defense is the perfect...
The defense that gave up, I believe, how many points was it again? Do you want to remind me how many points it was?
They won. How does that... What's Oregon's track record in national championship games? With Cam Newton, Remember...
Yes, because
make sure you touch the guy.
AJ McCarron is the exact same person as Cam Newton.
No. I'm saying Oregon does not have the track record Alabama does. We've seen Alabama's defense, especially in big games. Oregon would crash and burn. That would be very disappointing. That would get That game would get Houston Astros likes ratings by the third quarter because of how much of a blowout it would be. I really do believe that.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
Are you kidding? Noah, please talk some sense into him.
I'm going to have to agree with Carl. If it's between Oregon and Alabama, I think Oregon is the better team. I personally don't think Oregon's going to get there, though. I think they are the best team in the nation. I just think they're going to have a bad game against Stanford. I think they're going to end up losing. I think they're the best team, but they're victims of just tough loss, I think. And if they do play, though, I'm going to go with Oregon. I just like Marcus Mariota. He's my Heisman favorite. He's just been outstanding. For sure, Alabama's good, but after the Texas A&M game, they looked very weak. They have a lot of players that supposedly outstanding, impenetrable defense. But I just think that Oregon has too much offense for that defense.
Alright, listen closely. This is a surprise, I will admit that. The Final Four, because we are doing the playoff thing this year.
No, we're not.
Are we? Or is that next year?
That's next year.
Never mind then. Okay, good, fine. Then this is still, it's still much surprised. I'm going to say that Ohio State is going to beat not Oregon, not Alabama, but Clemson.
Wait, you seriously think that Clemson would lose to Ohio?
Let's go!
Ohio State, one, will not make the national championship game. Two, Clemson would beat Ohio State.
Backup quarterback in the nation. It's alright. She's better than Northwestern starting quarterback, so that game's over. Woo!
Well, it's Northwestern. It doesn't really count. It's like saying, it's like.
Ohio State. I feel legitimate. That's a legit pick.
Because here's the thing. Alabama is wide open as a chance to. Wait, hold on. No, scratch that. I'm sorry, not Clemson, LSU. I think LSU's going undefeated. I'm sorry,
LSU lost today, though. You think they're going undefeated?
Oh, right, yeah, Georgia won. I knew that was something wrong with that. I knew I said Clemson for a reason. Okay, I'm sorry.
Why we can't trust you, Jake.
Why you can't trust... Oh, but you trust that Oregon's going to beat up. Please.
But you didn't... Also, you said that Oregon couldn't beat Alabama, but you said Alabama's not even in the national championship game.
And neither is Oregon. I don't think Oregon's going to finish in the top 5.
You think Oregon won't finish in the top 5?
I think that they will max out at 5. If
they will. That is ridiculous.
I thought it was too much. That's a little bit too much.
Oregon has so many chances to lose. It's going to be too tempting for them. Because look, Louisville's going to go.
They only have 2 regular season games that they have a chance of losing.
Wait, I'm talking about rankings. Oregon is definitely a top 5 team in the country, but I don't think that's going to be the way it works out. I don't see a game that Ohio State loses. I don't see a game that Clemson loses. I don't see Louisville losing. And I like Alabama to be ranked over Oregon, or LSU to be ranked over Oregon, or Georgia to be ranked over Oregon. So,
but we already know that LSU won't be ranked over Oregon, because even when those 2 teams were both undefeated this last week, Oregon was still ranked over them.
Correct, because LSU didn't exactly play fantastic against Auburn.
But you want to hear my point now?
Yes.
My point, I wanted to make this for about, half an hour now. Oregon is playing against these SEC defenses that are supposed to be absolutely amazing. Look at these points these teams are putting up. Alabama and Texas A&M both had over 40 points. Clemson and Georgia Georgia and LSU both over 40 points. These defenses are not what they're made up to be. These teams are scoring like crazy, and it's not just these powerful running backs that are doing this. They're doing this through the air. These secondaries are not that good, and Marcus Mariota would rip up any one of those 4 teams' secondaries.
Okay, I'm done. I am done. You have crossed the line. Yeah, what's your prediction?
I'm going to go with one of each of your teams. I'm going to go with Ohio State, Music, and as I said, I think Stanford's going to be Oregon. So I'm going to go with Alabama out of Pro. I think Oregon is the best in the country, but I think that Ohio State will make it because of the weakness of their schedule. And I think that could hurt them if another team finishes undefeated. But I think that Alabama's going to end up winning all of their games. I don't think they're going to lose to anybody else. They could lose to LSU. LSU is a good team still. But I'm going to go with them too. And just because I'm an Ohio State fan and I like our team, I think that Urban Meyer will lead us to a victory in the NCAA championship. We'll get a crystal trophy, and Braxton Miller can celebrate before he eventually gets drafted. Maybe not this year, but eventually he'll go to Detroit. go. Now Chip Kelly is not quarterback.
Listen, here's my problem with that, because I like the pick of Ohio State. If Alabama makes it to a national championship game, they will win. Period. There is not a single team that has the capability of beating Alabama in the national championship game, except for LSU, who will not make it there.
Wait, but are you saying that Georgia couldn't beat them?
In the national championship game? I don't think so.
I'm saying in any game. You're saying that
No,
LSU
in the
is
national
the
championship
only
game.
team that could beat them.
No, in the national championship game.
But that's assuming that LSU and Alabama would both make it.
If Alabama... I didn't say Alabama was going to make it. I said Ohio
But I'm
State's going
saying
to be
Georgia's
Clemson.
better than LSU, anyway.
What are you... I'm saying that if Alabama makes it to the national championship game, which I'm not saying that they will, they would end up winning.
I'm saying that if they make it, the only team they would... I think they'll actually end up beating is Clemson if they play out of the other three teams. I think that Ohio State would win. I know a lot of people would disagree with that and say, well, Ohio State hasn't proved themselves. But I think that Ohio State could win that game. I think that Urban Meyer's coaches way through that game.
I mean, look, Alabama won the BCS national championship game 42-14 over Notre Dame.
But Notre Dame wasn't that good.
Notre Dame was
awful. Like,
no. Oh no, I know. But there's more. There's a lot more. Okay, we look at 2011.
I know, Monty Taylor's girlfriend. That's the answer to all of it.
No, listen, you don't. We are not bringing up Lene Kakua's name, okay? Because if we are going to refer to Lene Kakua, we should refer to him with his real name. Who can remember his real name, guys? I know who it is. I promise you. I'll be impressed if you
I can't. You know I can never pronounce anything.
No? Okay.
We've already been over...
No. What's his name? You remember?
It's Renee to...
It is Ronaya Tuiasosopo, guys.
See, I was close.
No.
Oh, very attractive.
Yeah. Let's put Ronaya Tuiasosopo in a Carl's Jr. commercial.
We should.
Alright. Guys, I want to, because, let's face it, we could talk about this all night. I want to thank both of you. I want to thank Robert Dieters. I want to thank anyone listening. You guys hung in here for a long night. No, I'm looking at our phone call right now. We've been on the line together for an hour and 52 minutes. This is going to be our longest show ever, and that was not the plan. But we are going to hit the 2-hour mark for the first time ever. I promise it's our best episode yet, and this was definitely the best episode yet, thanks to both of you guys. I mean, Noah, you live in Chicago, so it's it's almost it's past 1 a.m. there, right?
Yeah, it's 1:14 in the morning. Yeah,
and Carl, I mean, and you've been here for a while too.
Hour and a half.
Both of you guys, I mean, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And I told you guys, listening, anyone, we really care about what we do here in national sports. So, both of you guys, any closing statements? Carl, we know not to spell your name with a C, but with a K.
Can I please say it again?
Fine. You have to go say it again.
Just follow me on Twitter at Carl_PM. If you spell it with a C, you will not get me. It's with a K, not a C. So that's the truth. Watch College Football on Air. I finally made a Facebook page for it, so go look at that. And then you can know when stuff's about to happen. And then, Jake, did you make a Facebook page?
No, I went over this at the beginning of the show. I told you I've been sick and I've got a lot of work to catch up on.
Metaphorical slap.
I still have to be responsible. I can't just be pulling Johnny Manziel, doing willy-nilly, and not care about anything.
Jake, I'm going to make you a Facebook page if you don't.
I'm making my own Facebook page. Carl,
I'm making a Facebook page
Carl,
by the end of tomorrow.
This is my show. I can still excuse you whenever I want. So, anything else? This is my show.
My last comment for the whole night before I leave is quack.
Okay, I hung up because he hung it up with me. So whatever. I don't know. Noah, your turn. You get to go last.
Okay, so yeah, check out my new Facebook page. Link in Noah out in Chicago. or www.facebook.com/LakeandNoah. Tell like the page. We have 23 viewers through the first 10 hours, or 23 likes in the first 10 hours. I'll take it if that rate continues, though I don't think it will. I'd be very happy. I'll make Facebook pages for my other two shows also. And yeah, check out the Blake and Noah show tomorrow. And so, yeah. And you can do the math for the rest of it. I'm too tired to do the math. So yeah, thanks, Jake, for having me on your show, and I'd be happy to be on your show anytime.
Oh, man, no, you really mean it when you say anytime, even at 1:16 in the morning. Noah, just thank you so much from one cheesehead to another.
Yeah, no problem. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. I told you this national sports really is a family. I can honestly say that this is absolutely the best episode we have had yet. I want to thank everybody who's part of this, everyone who's listening. Next week, it's going down live from Green Bay, not Lambeau Field. I need to clear this up. It's going to be at like a Hyatt or something. I don't know. But you know what? We will still be in Titletown, USA. And because we appreciate people who were there from the beginning, we don't forget about traditions, for better or worse, here at Rookies Roundup. So, of course, we have to close things out with our awards. MVP, Facepalm, and Sympathy. First, our MVP, cue the Rocky music in the background for you in your head. Is Eric Berry. Kansas City Chief Eric Berry, because he overcame a big fear this week, and we are proud of him for that. Yes, we are. I am pulling that up right now. He has a fear. I mean, we all have our fears, I'm not gonna lie. I have a fear of spiders, and I have a fear of Colin Kaepernick when it comes to the Packers defense. Chief Safety has the clinical term equinophobia. He basically is scared of horses. NFL Films did a segment, according to Business Insider. NFL Films did a segment on the Chief Safety, and it was just great stuff. So, from the article, quote, in order to finally beat his phobia and face war paint, which is the name of the horse, Barry would try to expose himself to horses as much as possible and use some pretty bizarre techniques, such as drawing horses, playing pin the tail on the donkey, horse puppets, horse painting, watching horses on TV, and by the end of the documentary, spoiler alert, Barry musters enough strength to finally pet the horse Warpaint and overcome his childhood fears. So a round of applause for Eric Berry conquering his fear. Our facepalm goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's been tough for them. This season's really going downhill because of Greg Schiano really hijacking the season. I'm not going to lie, man. It's not good for them at all. Not many people really go to Tampa Bay games, so it could be worse, but for the few people who do have the tickets for the Buccaneers-Cardinals game, guess who's on the game ticket? That's right. Sporting the creamsicle jersey, it's Josh Freeman, who was just benched this week. If it was up to Greg Schiano, though, he'd probably just recycle all the tickets and have nobody show up because he won't even commit to Freeman being a backup quarterback. Well, you know what? Too bad. There's another Florida City with open arms waiting. That's probably Jacksonville. If Jacksonville's smart, we could see a Josh Freeman to Cecil Shorts combination. It could be something big. Sympathy, rookie hazing is popular in sports, but baseball teams are taking it to the next level. At first, it was just going to be the segment about Yasiel Puig, who was forced to walk around in a Gumby suit. Remember Gumby suit? The Malleus, green. Malleus, by the way, yeah. That's the word, or is it? Yeah, I think it is. Wearing a Gumby suit, it's that green cartoon thing. He even took a picture with Vince Scully as Gumby. That was fantastic. And of course, we've got Scott Van Slyke, who went as Stash Van Smashley, wearing a sexy nurse costume, and Hyunjin Ryu as the Pillsbury Doughboy, which was great. But the Oakland A's, wow, they have no mercy there. I mean, absolutely no sympathy for their rookies whatsoever. You've got guys like Dan Straley wearing a weird black and yellow version of Wolverine. You have Nate Freeman dressing up as Marge Simpson. You have Dan Otero wearing clothes that were far too bright and tight for anyone's good. Going as Robin. And then the worst part was Otero wearing a skimpy Mortal Kombat outfit in bright pink and way, way, way too tight. So, oh yeah, and the Angels also had rookie water polo day where they only walked around in Speedos. So yeah, rookie hazing, if you want to make it to the big leagues, you always have to start somewhere, even if that means in drag. Guys, I did not imagine this happening. I mean, over 2 hours? It's a good thing I kept track of the times here. Well, I stopped because we talked about topics I didn't plan on talking about. Stopped at around like the 91-minute mark, which is nearly a half hour ago. This is just incredible. This is a lot of fun to do, guys. 11th episode, over 2 hours. I'm not completely feeling better yet, but I'm certainly on my way. Next week in Green Bay, it's going to be fantastic. Again, another big thank you to Carl Mogline, Noah Taborda, coming through at 1:15 in the morning. Robert Dieters. We had other people that are trying to call in too, but the lines were just too busy. I'm serious, by the way. Like, that's not a lie. It got, it's a good problem to have. I'm not going to lie. Any other statements? UCLA Bruins, we are undefeated. We're actually a ranked football team. That's new. UCLA basketball team started practice today for the first time. Good luck to them. Packers have a bye week. They're going to need it. Shout out to my debate team. If anyone's listening, sorry I couldn't be there. They're probably living it up at some Marriott right now in Long Beach. Hopefully they're doing great, convincing people about compulsory voting and whatnot. And hopefully I was able to convince you that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time and will always be. Although I have to admit, the greatest athlete of all time is Bo Jackson. We've proved on this show that we can talk forever and ever and ever. So I'm going to have to stop myself at some point. Again, huge thank you. That Facebook page will come up soon as possible. I promise. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Next week is my high school's homecoming, so good luck to us. You guys rock. Share. That's what it is. Share online our Facebook page, National Sports, Twitter at all caps National Sports 1, and on Instagram it's National_Sports. Tell your friends, tell everybody you possibly can. Seriously, it's so much fun to do it. Hopefully you guys can get in on the fun. Let me know all the stuff if you have opinions. I'm rambling now. One last thing. I hope you enjoyed my analogies. You'll hear them a lot. That really came out in me tonight. And yeah, that is it. A wrap for episode 11 of Rookies Roundup for the 5th time next week in Green Bay. Do not miss it. Hopefully it'll be our best show yet, although it's going to be tough to live up to this, and it might be a little jet lagged, but you know what? If Taborda can do this at 1:15 in the morning, then I'll come through. I'm going to go and watch SNL now. I apologize to the T-Mobile executives for what I have said, but, let's face it, you really only have that T-Mobile girl thing going for you. Wow. Seriously, rambling. Thank you. One last time, big thank you to everybody. Next week, Green Bay, be there or be square. Yeah. All right. That's it, guys. That's really it. That's it. I'm clicking the stop button before we go. Good night. See you next week. Enjoy football. And, signing out. It's Jake Leggett from Rookies Roundup. 1 hour and 10 minutes later. Thank you for listening.
.com. Who are the hot teams in the Major League Baseball